Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 1266 of What's She Up To Now. Documenting my journey as teddy bears fall on me. I don't know why. I've got them stacked up. Oh, their one just lost her glasses, her magnifying glasses that help her see. Anyway, documenting the journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. And I've mentioned several times now in 2021, I'm actually going a little bit backwards, back into the real world of business. I call it the real world of business, which makes my online friends crazy, but it's the way I look at it. I think that any business is real business, right? But I like to tease them in that there's a lot of people in the online world, they've only ever done remote online business, and they have never had an offline business. They've never even worked with an offline business, and so they don't understand that there are differences. There's lots of similarities, but there's a lot of differences as well. There's a lot of entirely different functions that you need to think of in an offline real world business that you don't need to think of in an online business. I think of safety, for example. There isn't much from a safety standpoint that can happen in an online business, but there's a whole lot that can happen and be required to pay attention to in an offline business. COVID-19 definitely showed us that in 2020, that a physical business has to undergo all kinds of things and expenses and take a lot of different measures and processes and procedures and put those in place that an online business doesn't have to, that a remote business doesn't have to. So I'm not sure what made me think of that, but the online and the offline world. But I think that our world, and I think we really saw it because of 2020, because of COVID-19, we've seen that, at least here in America, we need to take a lot of different industries, especially manufacturing, back on our home turf, our home soil, so that we are less dependent on other parts of the world. Now, I understand we're a global economy, worldwide economy and everything, and that's awesome in some aspects, but I think that in other respects, our countries and we as individuals need to be more self-sufficient. We have to keep an eye on and make sure that we are managing our own resources and that we're prepared for the inevitable thing that we couldn't be prepared for. It's something that we would never have thought happen. And to me, it leads to our annual challenge saying today about all experiences are an arch to build upon. There's something to build upon. So whether you thought COVID-19 was good or bad for you personally is for us to all and each interpret. Every single one of us have changed and made massive changes in our life and our lifestyles due to having experienced COVID-19. Whether those were what you see as good changes or bad changes is up to you to decide, but we've all changed in some way, shape, or form because of the single root cause of the COVID pandemic. Now, I love this expression, and for a lot of reasons, and I want to talk a little bit more about it, because I look at experience as a stepping stone. It's the same way I look at change and challenges. They're just, or failure, it's just stepping stones in who we're becoming, who we are meant to be. We're all born, right? Little tiny babies born, not knowing anything. We can cry, we can scream, we can, pee or poo our diaper or whatever. We can eat. We are born afraid of falling. We're born afraid of loud noises, but that's about it. Everything else we pick up along the way based on our environment, our experiences, what happens around us, what happens to us, how much love we get, etc. But all of those experiences come together and culminate in who we are at any given moment and who we're becoming, who we're working toward being, how we want to show up on the planet, who we want to be. And we get to decide all that. It doesn't feel like it sometimes, but we actually get to choose and decide based on the decisions that we make, the choices that we make, the experiences that we choose to have or not have, the opportunities we take advantage of, or the opportunities that we just never even see or we let pass us by intentionally or just by missing the deadline, missing the boat. Knowing that, of course, I hate it when people say it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. There is no such thing as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. There's an opportunity that you're ready for and you take advantage of and you get involved with, and there's opportunities that are passing by. There's infinite possibilities and infinite opportunities passing each and every one of us all the time. So there's no such thing as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This is your one chance. This is your 15 minutes of fame. This is your one opportunity to go to an event or be involved with this or to write a book or to do anything. It is a big, fat lie when somebody says this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Marketers love to use it, but it's to create scarcity and to get people to take action, but it's just a manipulative ploy that is nonsense. Now, you might miss a training or a class or an event or something because the timing isn't right for you. That doesn't mean you've missed that opportunity. That means that wasn't the right opportunity, the right experience for you to have at that given moment, that given time. You know, this whole fear of missing out thing. I never heard of FOMO, fear of missing out, until I came into the online world. And I'm really glad I didn't, because it feels so powerless to me. FOMO to me is a marketing tool to make people feel bad that they're not doing something that probably isn't right for them at the time anyway. So why do you want to make people feel bad about missing something that if they were supposed to be there, they'd find a way to be there? If I'm supposed to be at an event, if I'm supposed to be on a trip, if I'm supposed to be in a place, I find a way to get there. But because I choose not to go somewhere, because I decide not to go out with my friends, besides I decide not to do something, doesn't mean I've missed out on anything. It means it wasn't the right thing for me. All of our experiences are like that. They're stepping stones. Every experience, good, bad, failure, success, they're all building blocks and stepping stones to who we are as a person. That's why the world is so amazing. It's because each and every one of us, even if we think we have similar experiences, we all respond to them differently based on the previous experiences we've had up to the point of having that. COVID-19 is a perfect example of this, because so many people were impacted by the same thing, the same root cause. COVID-19 pandemic would be considered a root cause of so much change, so many challenges, so many different experiences than before. There aren't very many times in our personal life experiences where we have the similar root cause experience as billions of other people. And so I hope that we're learning lessons about the world, about ourselves, about other people, mostly about ourselves, based on this experience. How we responded to it, what happened to us, how we reacted. Was it a positive thing or a negative thing? How long did it discombobulate us or throw us off of our game, or turn our world in various areas and aspects upside down before we were able to right it or create and change how we responded to things so that we were functioning in a pretty decent way for us? It's all about the experiences and what we do with them. I could talk about this topic probably all day long, because we are all, a culmination at any given moment of all the experiences we've had previously. And what we choose to do right this instant, right now, is the only time we can choose or act or do anything, determines what the future version of us is going to be like. And so what we choose to do, how we choose to feel, what we choose to pay attention to, it's important. And it's what are we paying attention to right now? What are we experiencing right now? What are we feeling right now? A lot of times we get bogged down in believing that things that happened in the past are more important than they are, and things that haven't happened yet in the future are more important and get our attention. So even though we're in the present moment where we could do something, we could act, we could learn something, we could grow, we could change our mind, we could do whatever, we don't, because we're wasting that current moment fretting about the past or worrying about the future. Both of which are an entire waste of time, because the only time we can do anything is right now. So what are you doing right now? What are you experiencing right now to move your life in the direction you want it to go? Because that's all that really matters. All the stuff in the past, some of it's good and it's experiences and it's things that have brought us to where we are right now. And a lot of it is just wasted time and nonsense, right? I think of past experiences I've had where I've dwelled on something. Something would happen, I would get upset about it, and I'd dwell on it for like a couple of weeks, and then I'd think I got over it, and then a couple of months later it would pop up as something would trigger it, and I'd pop back into that feeling, and I'd jump right back into that nonsense of an event that happened, and it was maybe it was just a 30-second or a 15-minute or a 2-hour event, but I created it and made it into hours and hours of thinking about it and reliving it, or even weeks or months or years. We all do that sometimes. But what we want to do is we want to take the good experiences we've had and we want to stretch them out and be living in those moments over and over and over again, not the bad ones. And so if we can flip out a good memory, a good experience for a bad one, whenever we start feeling or thinking or fretting or worrying about something from the past, erase that, blow it up. I like to blow it up in my imagination. I like to blow things up. It's my pyroglyphics and fireworks love. And so I like to actually, in my mind, blow things up with a sparkly, beautiful, loud, crackly firework, and then replace it with a good memory, something that makes me feel good, moves me toward what it is that I want, and think of that thing instead of the negative thing that pops into my head. Does it work all the time? No. The negative stuff is still going to pop in our heads, but having a substitute for it makes it less of a negative impactor in the present moment than if I was to let myself go into that dark trail of downward spiral of thinking negatively about something from the past. It's much more fun to think positively and have an upward spiral by thinking of something from the past that was awesome, right? Think of a great experience you had, a great lesson you learned, a great class you took, a great relationship you've had, etc. But think about the good things, not the bad. We're usually pretty good at that when somebody passes away. I don't know if you've had this experience. I haven't really lost a ton of people that are really, really close to me in my life, but I really felt it when my dad passed away. Everybody deals with grief differently. Everybody deals with experiences differently. Grief and losing a loved one is no different. But how we process it and how we deal with it is dependent on what works for us. But what works for me is always remembering and focusing on the positive experiences I had with that person and remembering the lessons I learned from that person or the great interchanges that we had or the great memories I have of that person. And then all the other stuff, because guess what? Whenever we are involved with any other one person, we've had some good interchanges and some bad ones, and not always bad, but just ones where we felt we should have said things differently or responded differently. And especially with somebody like your mom or your dad. My dad, when he passed away, I focused on all the things I love and cherish about him, and I still do. And every once in a while, I'll think of something like, oh, can't believe I said that to my dad, and then do I beat myself up over it? No. I just think about, yep, that's part of being human. Now, what are all the good experiences we had? Or what's a couple of good experiences to erase me thinking about that? Oh, I wish I hadn't said it that way. And it's usually in context of I'm having a conversation with somebody else, and all of a sudden I will say something in a way that reminded me of that conversation that I wish I hadn't had with my dad. There aren't very many of those. I can only think of a couple times when I was like, really, Dad, you totally crushed me and hurt my feelings, and I should have responded differently. Or I shouldn't have said what I said in a business setting because I was upset about something. And then, we realize that we're all just human. We do the best we can with what we've got at any given moment. We just always want to be making ourselves better and better and better and becoming a better version of ourselves so that as we learn and grow, as we have experiences, we respond better than we have in the past. We continually grow and respond better. And we know that if we're doing that, if we're on that path, we're going to respond even better in the future because we're going to become a much more enlightened, more evolved, more kinder and gentle, maybe kinder and gentler version of ourselves. It depends what it is that you want. So I'm thinking about experiences a lot today. Our idiom for supersize your business was cross the T's and dot the I's. That was the earliest version. I think in 1849 that was published in Scribner's magazine or something. And it's an expression that's from the early 19th century, so the early 1800s, but it's actually related to a similar version that was around in the 17th century. So it's a pretty old expression, and it basically means pay attention to details, pay attention to the things that are important, and what's really important. We want to take out of every experience what's important and bring that along with us, and all the rest we want to leave behind. Remember, our brains are massive recording devices, and they remember everything, every little detail. And that all goes into our subconscious mind. It doesn't stay floating around in our conscious mind, or we would be overwhelmed in about, 2 minutes of our birth, and we'd be maxed out and our brains couldn't take anymore. Luckily, our brains are a lot smarter and more evolved than we are, and they can handle everything. But we only want to recall and bring back the pieces that benefit us. So dot your I's, cross your T's. I shared some stories of very important lessons I had with that particular expression. And I think it's fun. It's these leadership expressions that I'm doing for the most of the month of July are really interesting in that I don't think but one of them has talked about leadership at all or used the word leader at all. And I think that's interesting. We're going through and covering leadership idioms, but they're about skills and application of them with respect to leadership, not about being a leader per se. I mean, there's probably tens of thousands of leadership quotes, but it's different than idioms, right? Idioms are a little bit more confusing and a little bit more cryptic than just sayings or quotes or things about leadership. Maybe we'll do something with that down the road, but for right now, we're just doing idioms that have something and some tie into leadership, which all ties into growing and building and supersizing our businesses. Get Up and Go Challenge is coming up. It's 12 days away. August 1st, we're going to do the next free 30-day Get Up and Go Challenge. I think I need to do a post about that today to let people know it's coming up. I don't think I'm going to do a video. I did a live video a couple days ago, and I'll do them next week, and I'll start doing maybe one every day. Maybe I'll do some teaser lessons or teaser tools or teaser ideas or something. I haven't really decided yet, but I'm getting excited about it. I already committed that I'm going to set an egg timer, or actually it's a cow timer, so that I stay at 10 minutes. And then if we get a topic that's really interesting or that people want to know more about, we'll just do a couple bonus sessions on it so that I don't dig into that 10-minute time. It's the 8th version of this challenge now, and I committed in most of them that I would keep it to 10 minutes. And every single challenge I've gone over 10 minutes in at least one or two of the videos. And that's, I think, the best I did. I think early on, I just talked for however long, and so some of them were 20 minutes, half an hour. It depends on the topic that we were talking about and the tool I was sharing to help people to apply the topic we were talking about on that day. So what I like to do is have a topic, then an action item, but then a tool to help you do that topic and that action item. So that's how I structure it every day. So there's topic, action item, topic, tool, action item, because the action item helps us to get at the thing that we're doing for the day. But I have to explain all that in less than 10 minutes, and then it usually takes you 10 minutes or less to go ahead and do the action item. Trying to keep it in very small bite-sized pieces so that it's so easy to do. Nobody's going to say, I'm not going to do this. It's too hard. I didn't get time. I've been in challenges, and I love those challenges. I love all different types of challenges, but I've been in some where it's 3 hours a day, the lesson and the video and the audio that you're listening to, or the live video or the live coaching session that you're on, and then the homework that goes along with it is these are 30-day challenges as well. Takes you hours depending on your level of expertise in the topic. And so if you're not during COVID-19, there's a lot of people that can't take advantage of a challenge like that. And they're awesome challenges. I've loved every one of them. But I know that if I, with the ability to make my own schedule, find them challenging to get done during the time period or during the days that they're doing them, then I know that the vast majority of people are never going to finish a challenge. And it's just like an information dump to overwhelm people and to actually get them to believe that they need to jump into your longer high-ticket program because you couldn't possibly get everything done in the challenge. But then the sad part is sometimes you go into the high-ticket program and you find out it's the exact same thing as what you were being given for free, but it's just slowed down at your own pace so that you can actually get it done. Which, is that worth thousands of dollars? It's only up to you to decide. You have to decide that. But we don't do that. We just do a free challenge. I want to make sure it's 10 minutes and 10 minutes because everyone on this planet, no matter how busy they say they are or what their priorities are, if they have a priority to understand challenges and change and make it work for them in their life from the 30-day point forward on autopilot, then it's a no-brainer. 20 minutes a day, you can find that. All right, that is what I'm working on. I'm also doing a 34, I think it's a 34 module program online right now, so I'm trying to quickly learn that before the end of July, because once I start my own challenge, that becomes my priority. So I want to get that done this month and see if there's some things I can learn in that to share during the challenge. There usually is. I don't take a training that I don't learn at least one thing out of it. And if there's 34 modules, I might even learn 5 things in that training. All right, that's it. Have an amazing day. If I can help you in any way, ask in the comments below. You can direct message me on this particular video. I don't do that on all my videos. This is usually the only one I do that on. And it's because I want to have a quick interchange. If you are stuck, if you've got a problem or a challenge that you are stuck on right now and you don't know what to do next, I want to be that resource that you can ask. Just ask. And I always preface it with, I might not know the answer. I might not know the next step, but I guarantee you do, and that we can figure it out together. Or I will hook you up with the right resource or the thing that you need to take that next step. Have an awesome day. I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye.